Welcome to today's Morning Minutes. Billy and I will be talking about where are all the bargains going. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Billy Jury here for episode 1451. Can't find a bargain. You're not alone. We are seeing a transitional property market with lots of different ups and downs and two very different sectors. You've got your entry-level market of apartments and housing with your high-end market with apartments and housing, both sort of doing their own thing. We're seeing lots of common complaints or frustrations with buyers. But Billy, maybe this morning, let's start with your entry-level apartments, houses. What is some of the feedback? What are the trends you're seeing?
Yeah, and look, we're representing clients that are often in an apartment trying to then transition into the entry-level price point of a house. So I call it bracket creep, where you used to be able to distinguish quite easily what an entry-level apartment was just by price. On the Northern Beaches, to put it into perspective, 12, 18 months ago, you used to be able to buy an apartment, 2 bedrooms, in a beachside suburb like DY for $800,000. And to find them for sale now, they're just so scarce. There's a huge undersupply, which has been long-term now. And we're not finding the stock on the market for sale. They're certainly not being published as sold results. And you're seeing case-by-case studies to suggest that the entry-level price points have moved permanently.
So where would that, you're talking about bracket creep. So if someone said to us, hey, we're looking for an entry-level 2-bedroom apartment, what price range do I have to be within? You would have said 750 to 850 or 8 to 900.
Yeah.
Now you're saying there's very little in that market. What would be that new bracket of that type of apartment?
Well, the median price for an apartment now on the Northern Beaches in a suburb like DY is $995,000.
Right, it's a big increase.
So, that's the median. Don't get me wrong, you can still buy it under that. But that would be the range. 9 to 990 would be the entry level price.
And where that really affects people is who haven't bought at all. Like, because if you've already got a studio apartment or a 1-bedroom apartment, you never really see 2-bedroom markets go up and 1-bedroom markets go down. They run in sync. Mm-hmm. So the numbers may be bigger, the loan repayments may be bigger, but your percentages should be very similar. But if you haven't got that first property paying $800,000, but now potentially $1 million, that's a big 20% increase. Are you seeing similar in the housing market? So entry-level houses could be Beacon Hill, Narrowena. What are you seeing there?
We've got some good data to show you there, but the last 12 months has been quite interesting because for houses, they have been trending on an upwards trajectory, but it's almost catching up halfway in the middle of where they'd come from in the previous 12 months before that. And what that means is people have a feeling like they missed the bargain, but they're nervous that then to buy now because they think it's still sort of in that territory. But the data suggests that it's the days of the bargain for the prices 12 months ago now have.
I think it's all within relative. So this graph is showing where the pricing was middle of next year for houses in Allambie. You see the big decrease. So you could say there was the bargain hunting, and that was around February of this year, and it's slowly creeping up. But so you may think, oh, I've missed the bargain, but it's all relative. You've got to know where the numbers started and where they ended and what direction they're going to know if you're getting a bargain in 2025 compared to, it may not be a bargain if you bought in 2015. You're looking at the price and going, this is all crazy. But if you're looking at 2025, you go, well, the median price was 2.52. It dropped to 2.32. Now we're up to 2.4. So you're still less than last year if you're looking to buy. But it also comes down to, it's all quite like all these figures at that price point, 2.2, 2.3, it's almost rounding. Like, I know people will be governed by what the banks will lend them, but it's all been very stable. And I think that's the biggest thing. as much as buyers love to say we love a rising market, or we love it when it's decreasing, sometimes that uncertainty gives a lot of families stress about, well, if I sell now, will I not even be able to buy what I want because the market's going up so fast? Or if I sell now, same again in reverse. So we've been in a very stable market, which means it is hard to go, I got a bargain, or I overpaid, or I just paid fair market value. Is a lot more consistent. So I think in this type of market, we always advise buy and sell in the same market to lower fluctuation. But I suppose in this type of market, you do have a little bit more time because you're not having, you're having 1 or 2% swings. In real estate, we've seen 5-10% swings in quarters. So you were going to sell for 2.5, 3 months later, it's around 2. That makes a big change, not necessarily the $100,000 change.
And the biggest difference is the number of properties for sale to the number of buyers in the market. Stock levels we've been reporting for a long time now, but they have not changed in a positive way for buyers since spring last year. We've been recording it very, very consistently.
A pat on my own back. I've been manually counting how many listings are on the market
and
each week
for how long?
For a decade. So
A decade.
we know the stock
To
levels.
show your age there.
Yeah, and we know how many buyers are inquiring. So,
but to put it into perspective, spring last year, towards the October-November closing quarter of last year, there were just under 900 properties on the market for sale. Northern Beaches, realestate.com. As of this morning, it's 634.
Yeah.
That's sharp. In addition to that, where interest rates have been trending in a downwards direction, it's given people more affordability and a little bit more borrowing. So the entry-level price points have been impacted first because, to begin with, there was never many properties for sale in those price points. But now the challenge is having more buyers, more competition, and that's what I think is behind some of these price shifts we're seeing.
yeah, and because we're just coming off a market, COVID, around that time period where there was 350 properties available for sale. And then it shot up to 1,000 or 1,200, what Billy said, and then it's come to 900. So there's been a lot of shifts, but it is quite nice to see that the pricing has been very stable. In Australia, a lot of our asset value is in property. So it's not a market you want to see fluctuating and dropping and then big increases. You want it fairly stable. Sometimes, and I was chatting to my brother about this with his property, it's not necessarily the market that's the biggest indicator on if he will sell at a profit or a loss. It's the timing of when he goes to market. He has quite a very unique duplex, which is up and down, not side to side. So it's a very single level house feel. And I said to him, you've got a better chance of getting a higher price if there's no entry level single homes on the market, because that type of buyer would also look at yours. But if you go to market and there's a smorgasbord of single level homes, well, obviously that buyer will choose that over yours because it doesn't have a separate owner upstairs. So if you go to market with one of them on the market compared to 10 of them, will impact your price rather than the consistency we're seeing. And also the agent can impact the price as well. So yeah, I think that's it this morning. We can do another one on the high-end market, but that covers us for this morning.
In addition to that, if you're thinking of getting in before spring,
I was going to have the sale pitch.
You must consider selling in isolation versus in competition. And I do think spring is going to come around very soon. But a lot of landlords, a lot of owners we're talking to, they're making preparations now.
I'm sure you can answer any questions they may have.
Absolutely, Coach.
Cool, Billy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.